Welcome to Alteryx to Fabric Automation Conversion demo. For this demo, we will be using this Alteryx workflow, which reads financial data from various sources and performs transformations such as data cleansing, merging, filtering, aggregation, and writes the final outputs into two separate Excel files. Now let's look into the details of the tools that are being used in this workflow. The first two input tools read data from two separate Excel files. And the third input tool reads data from on-prem Postgres database. And the fourth and final input tool reads data from Redshift database. And then the transformation is being performed using the various tools such as union, data cleansing, unique, text to columns, join, formula, filter, summarize, sample, Crosstab, and sort. And once the transformation is done, the outputs are written into two separate Excel files. The names of those two Excel files are revenue summary and low sales Crosstab. We'll be using this Alteryx workflow as an input to our automation tool to convert it into Fabric Dataflow Gen2. But before we use our automation tool to perform the conversion, let's run this workflow to see how it executes and completes and creates the two Excel files. You can see the workflow is being processed, and now the workflow execution completed. We can go to output folder to see the output files. Low sales Crosstab. This is the output file that we got from Alteryx workflow, and the second output file is revenue summary. So now let's keep these two Excel files open so that at the end of the conversion we can compare the output of this Alteryx workflow with the Fabric output. So now let's open the automation tool. This is our automation tool which is going to convert Alteryx workflow to Dataflow Gen2. So we are giving the Alteryx workflow as an input, and upon clicking the start conversion, it performs the conversion, and then simultaneously it actually showcase what is being converted, how the tools within the Alteryx is being converted into which component in Fabric, and then it actually authenticates with the server to publish the workflow in Fabric portal. So now it shows the Dataflow Gen2 created successfully, and it has been created in the name demo workflow, and it shows that tools converted is 23, queries generated is 28, output destination is true, which is two Excel files. Now you can also see our automation conversion tool creates a log file which helps the developer to improvise the tool in case if there is any component of the Alteryx workflow that is not converted or partially converted or need any manual intervention. So now let's open the Fabric environment to see the newly created Dataflow Gen2 workflow. So this is the demo workflow that is being created using our automation tool, and this is looking pretty good, and it needs a small change before we run this workflow. So we need to click on this manage connections, and we need to map the Redshift connection that is being already configured in the Fabric portal, and we need to map the Redshift connection to this newly created Dataflow Gen2. That way we'll be able to read data from Redshift sources. So it is taken care. Now we can close this and we can click on save and run. It will take a couple of seconds to a minute to complete the pipeline execution. Upon successful completion of the pipeline, we'll be able to see the output in Fabric Lakehouse, which we have already created and configured. So as it is currently processing this workflow, we can see how it is being converted, how the components of Alteryx workflow converted into Fabric Dataflow Gen2. You can see the country targets from Redshift data source is converted successfully into Dataflow Gen2 query along with a couple of other operations that is performed in the Alteryx. We can monitor the execution by clicking on this icon at the bottom, and we can refresh to see if the pipeline execution completed or not. Currently it is still in progress. It will take few more seconds to complete since it is not going to pull data from any complex or huge data sources. And you can also see the names of the components and queries created in the Dataflow Gen2 are very much identical to what we have in Alteryx. And also the filter tools, union tools, select and join tools, whatever the tools that are being used and the names that are provided and the tool ID that is being provided in the Alteryx is also retained here. So that way you'll be able to go and check if any specific tool is converted successfully or if there is anything that is left out. Now we can see the pipeline execution completed successfully. And now we can go to Fabric Lakehouse and we can click on Excel data and refresh this tab. So this is the subfolder where we have configured our converted workflow to place the output files. So here you can see the low sales Crosstab file is placed here along with revenue summary. If I open low sales Crosstab, we can see the data from the Dataflow Gen2 pipeline. And let's quickly compare low sales Crosstab Alteryx output with Fabric Excel file output. And you can see that the conversion is successful and we can see the data is exactly matching. Now let's move on to the next file, the revenue summary, and open the revenue summary and do a quick comparison. So let me expand all the columns, and if you compare the output of revenue summary, the segment, column, region, total revenue, total profit, record count, average units sold, and the sorting order provided in the Alteryx, everything is properly retained along with the total revenue, total profit, and the record count values and average unit sold values. Everything is perfectly matching. So this is how our automation tool helps to convert any Alteryx workflow with any number of components or any type of complexity into Fabric Dataflow Gen2. Thank you.